Back in September, I won homecoming queen at my high school, and I am the first open transgender homecoming queen in the nation, and possibly the world. I first learned the word transgender from a documentary that I watched when I was in fifth grade, and it was a 2020 special on transgender kids. And I saw Jazz and I saw the other transgender kids in the show, and I was sitting right next to my Aunt Debbie when I was watching it, and right after she looked at me and said, "What do you think?" And I burst out in tears and I told her, "That's what I am. I'm transgender." And it was the first time I'd ever heard the word. And it was such a surreal moment because I finally found the word that had described me for all my life. My transition was fairly easy and hard at the same exact time. I had been dressing up as a girl and going to school every few months or every month in sophomore year and junior year. I finally made the decision to transition in high school when I met my best friend, Victoria, who is also transgender, and she really helped me to overcome what people thought of me.
Where do you see two transgendered like best friends just come out of nowhere?
Who met each other and were friends before they
Exactly,
transitioned,
and then just
and we
stuck it.
hated each other.
No, yeah, we really
because
did.
we were like, well, at least, well, okay, when he was a boy or when she was a boy, he didn't like me because I was like annoying and fat and ugly and all those horrible things in middle school. And I didn't like him because he threatened me, because I felt he was way better looking than me, and I knew he was gay even though he told no one that he was gay. I knew he was, and I was like, this bitch is coming for me, because I was the gay guy at the school. I was the popular one. I was the only gay, and I was not gonna let some other little Gaysian rain in on my parade. So I didn't like hit her at all.
And I did.
I go through a lot of the same feelings that real girls go through, but worse at times because of being transgender. So not only is it normal female problems, but it's amplified. Most transgender girls, unfortunately, want to make sure that they look 100% female physically so that no one will know. Because when people do know, it can be unsafe and there can be even more obstacles and more hardships to face. When we started talking sophomore year, we just both I helped her discover that she was transgender, and through helping her discover, it made me want to finally transition and make the decision to transition, because at the time I wasn't transitioning because I didn't think my dad would ever let me and I'd ever be able to until I turned 18. So I had it in my head that I would when I turned 18. My father didn't want to believe it and didn't want to accept it. He never wanted to believe or accept that I was gay when I identified as a gay man. And when I came out as transgender, it was the same thing. He didn't want to accept it. He is still to this day in denial about it and still calls me his son.
My stepdad, who I've called my dad my whole life, I have yet to really, I told him and he kind of didn't really take it well. He was supportive, and I guess he said that he'd love me still, but he said that we couldn't hang out as much and whatever. But I mean, that was
It was
like a year ago. Yeah, that was
yeah.
like a year ago. And then around Christmas time, my mom was talking about it and my family was talking about it. My whole family is really supportive, more so than my parents. So, I mean, that's good.
Passability is a term that is used in the transgender community. And what it means is when you're passable, that means you can walk down the street and no one would know you're transgender. And I think it's a very unfortunate concept, but it's a very unfortunate reality that most all transgender people face. Personally, I think it's absolutely ridiculous, and that's why I share my story. And that's why I think it's amazing the advocacy work that's done by transgender people, because we need to get to a point in society where it doesn't matter if you're passable and it doesn't matter if you're transgender. It only matters if you're a human.